My name's Sharon Black, and I'm a spokesperson with the Job is the Right campaign and the All People's Congress.
Now, Sharon, what's the purpose of the protest tonight? We're in front of the BGE headquarters.
Yes, we're right in front of...
I'm just going to show the audience. This is not their headquarters, but one of their main offices where the BGE people work.
This is their downtown headquarters. And the purpose today is really to have a press conference to launch a campaign to stop BGE rate hikes. They have announced just this past week, Wednesday I believe it was, that they intend to recoup the $81 million that they had to spend in storm costs on the backs of customers, which really means that poor and working people, particularly we're concerned about seniors, the poor, young people, people who have very little money, unemployed workers, for instance, are going to be paying for the cost of the storm. We're contending, number one, that it was negligence that made it impossible for many people in their homes to have electricity. We also think there was disparity in how things were handled. For instance, all the businesses were up and running. But like for instance, in my house, it was 7 full days before electricity was restored. And I talked to a lot of people. There was this common thread that, you know, if you were a big business, you got electricity right away. If you weren't, you didn't. But also what we understand from the workers at BGE, that they have been cutting back crews prior to the storm that do the tree trimming, that do all the maintenance work that would have, you know, allowed for a quicker ability for electricity to be restored. But, you know, basically, Bill, this is an outrage. Think about it. It's an outrage. Right now, the economy couldn't be worse for the unemployed, couldn't be worse for the poor in this city. They just announced that the poverty rate increased 20%. 1 out of every 4 persons in this city is living in poverty. And poverty, their figures for that are so low that, you know, when you look at it, most of the people in this city are poor, frankly, or don't make enough money to even live comfortably. And now they're going to raise rates. People are outraged. People should be getting a rollback in rates. Electricity should be free. It's a necessity in society. And the banks and the businesses and all of them get a big break in their electric rates, and the people don't. So we're starting a campaign. This is just to announce our campaign. We're going to have petitions. We're going to be picketing at the hearings. There's hearings coming up about how BGE handled themselves during the storm, and then later they're going to be asking for a rate hike. And boy, will we have people out at those hearings. We're going to be in the streets gathering petitions everywhere. You know, somewhere we have to draw the line in the sand, so to speak. Somewhere we have to begin resistance. That is sitting in at their headquarters, protesting, doing the things that we did in the 60s. By any means necessary, we got to stop these rate hikes.
Well, I remember, Sharon, when this industry was regulated by the state and by the Public Service Commission. And then these wire pullers came in, and they were able to convince Governor Glendenning and the General Assembly to deregulate it. And what happened? The rates went through the ceiling. Right.
Well, deregulation is a little similar, in my opinion, to privatization of anything that's been public. It means that the profit motive, that the greed of these companies supersedes all of their needs. And for instance, and there's been a couple cases where whole families have literally died in fires because they used candles. Or even in a storm, there was a gentleman who died of inhalation from the use of, you know, one of those gasoline-powered generators. So people have already died from this. And, you know, if utilities are shut off on one house, and that house catches fire in a city of row homes, that's a threat to the safety of everybody. So this is an issue for everyone, regardless of whether you're able to keep your utilities on. And BGE is saying that, oh, it's not, you know, they haven't asked for an increase for a while. Oh, it's only going to be a couple dollars. Well, we don't believe that, hooey. But even regardless, for a couple people, whatever the percentage of increase it is, it's going to be way over what they can afford.
Anything else?
No,
you're going to have more of these demonstrations.
Absolutely. I think there's 2 hearings coming up. On Tuesday, there's a hearing in Towson tomorrow night. We're going to be at that hearing with petitions. There's a hearing in October. There's hearings that are set up. We're getting the word out everywhere. If anyone's interested, they should call 410-218-4835. That's 410-218-4835. You know, pick up petitions. You know, join us in the fight to stop BGE. It's the only way we're going to do it is we start getting out in the streets. Otherwise, the elected officials pay us no mind. The Public Service Commission is not really, you know, serving us. And The only way we're going to do it is to put a fire underneath their butts and really get angry and make them stop the rate hikes.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
The only really good game. BGE is greedy. BGE is greedy. BGE is greedy.
And your name, sir?
Dr. Marvin Cheatham, President of the Greater Baltimore Chapter National Action Network.
And Doc, why are you here tonight at this protest?
We're here today. One of the things that's really plaguing our community are the different types of hikes that are taking place. And one that's hitting the community more than another is the fact that there is a proposed BGE, Baltimore Gas and Electric rate hike. And with the economy being the way that it is, unemployment being as high as it is, Baltimore City having a 25% poverty rate, this is not an appropriate time to talk about a rate hike for Baltimore Gas and Electric. We just came out of a major storm where many people didn't have electricity for a significant period of time. We're hoping that they will read the meters correctly and not give them a rate hike as a result of that. But we have to continue speaking out for those that can afford these rate hikes the least. Yes, probably the middle class would do all right with this, but there are those who will probably lose electricity. And we know here in Baltimore what happens, they lose electricity, they start finding other ways to come up with lights and heating. And we don't want that to happen. We want the Baltimore Gas and Electric Company to understand that there are some people who will be seriously harmed. The ones that can afford it the least are the ones that will probably have the highest rate. So we're saying no to a BGE rate hike.
Thanks so much, Doc.
Thank you.